Welcome to a channel where we try to learn some shit. This is the first episode in a series focusing on topics in biology specifically for the MCAT. Episode 1 will be introducing the 4 main categories of biomolecules. So without further ado, let's begin. I want to start the series with this diagram because I've often spoken with students interested in medicine and organismal biology but are nauseated by, air quotes, little biology. It's important to remember that these 4 types of biomolecules that we're going to discuss are essential for the form, function, and perpetuation of life. These minuscule things coordinate to form cells that in turn form systems which comprise complex organisms such as ourselves. Disease states, which if you plan on being my future doctor, you better have a fucking abundance of interest in, are often manifestations of malfunctioning processes at the molecular level. So appreciate the little guys. As this episode is the first episode, I also would like to stress the importance of remembering the basic chemical principles you learned in Gen Chem when thinking about biological molecules. I'm talking about charge distribution, polarity, acid-base chemistry, energy diagrams, and thermodynamics. Integrating these concepts will strengthen your understanding and provide multiple avenues to solve problems later down the road. I suppose that's enough of a digression. Let's go on and talk about the 4 major classes of biomolecules. First, proteins. No, bro, not that fucking way you've been chugging in hopes of becoming a Trapezosaurus Rex. This group of biomolecules is extremely diverse. Here seen is a ribbon diagram on the left, or a space-filling model on the right of 2 different proteins. The former is commonly used to display the underlying structure of proteins in an easily to visualize manner, and the latter is more of a native concept of areas of interaction or activity within the protein. Now, proteins perform a multitude of functions, including cell signaling, structure, the architecture of molecular machines, but they are most notable for their enzymatic function. And that's what you really want to focus on in this category, is how they function as enzymes in biological systems. Next up is lipids, aka fatty fats. Here I chose to show estrogen and phospholipids in several configurations as representatives of this category. With estrogen, I wanted to highlight lipids' role in signaling pathways, in particular in the endocrine system, while the phospholipid structure should get you thinking of compartmentalization via cell membranes and organelles. Additionally, lipids play a role in molecular transport. Think nutrient absorption or secretory pathways. Now it's time for some warm and gooey bread. No, I'm sorry, that's not right. I meant carbohydrates. God, I love bread though. My marquee carbohydrates are glucose and cellulose. You should be thinking energy storage or fuels when thinking of carbohydrates, and that's what I want to get across with the glucose. Additionally, structural carbohydrates are polysaccharides. In the case of plant cell walls, you're thinking cellulose, or these polysaccharides additionally make up bacterial cell walls as well. Now, let's take a quick aside to acknowledge that biology does not like simple categories or hard rules without exception. I would be doing a disservice if I led you to believe any of these categories were all-encompassing, with clear distinction between them. For example, carbohydrates are commonly linked to proteins and lipids, creating hybrids that function in cell-to-cell communication, because fuck me, right? Don't worry about knowing everything. Stick to the heuristics to achieve your goal and not get sucked down a rabbit hole of trying to know more than you need to. It's just going to be impossible. Finally, we have our 4th and final category, nucleic acids. This figure shows the classic single-stranded RNA and double-stranded DNA. Nucleic acids are our blueprint, our hard drive. They maintain the integrity of our information just like Facebook. Wait, no, bad analogy. Another situation likely to be discussed along with nucleic acids, besides just information storage in the case of the genomic DNA, is metabolism, because ATP, which is the cell's energy currency, is also a nucleotide. So keep that in mind as well. Now, as we wrap up here, those are the 4 main classes of biomolecules. In the future episodes, I will be deep diving into each one and establishing their nuances and their particular functions within the cell. I understand this was a very basic overview, but I wanted to introduce everything and make sure everyone's on the same page. Yes, this absolutely should have been a very generic review and reminder from biology, very simple biology, even high school.
I hope you enjoyed my lecture. If you wouldn't be caused too much trouble, would you please subscribe? And I will teach you some more.